Entrance Interview Preparation module. Let me share a fact with you. Every year, the number of students graduating are in lakhs, whereas the number of jobs available in the market are very less. Ironically, many students, they don't even get a single call for an interview. So, why is this happening? What is missing? The missing element is a marketing tool. Now, what is this marketing tool? This marketing tool is nothing but an impactful and an effective resume. So, in today's session, we will learn how to prepare an effective resume. Before we begin to understand what goes into effective resume and how to prepare an impactful resume, let us understand what is a resume. A resume is a document which has the summary of your education background and your professional skills or competencies targeted to a specific post in a specific organization. Like I mentioned that a resume is targeted for a specific post in a specific organization. But from where will you get the information about this specific organization or for the specific post? You will get this information from a job advertisement or job postings. So, here is an example of a job advertisement, an organization which is looking for some freshers. So, if you see, they have mentioned the qualifications such as, BTech, MCA. Then they have also mentioned the year, like 2013. And if you observe, they have also written there a cutoff marks such as 70% there. And yeah, about the primary skills. So they want their candidates to have these particular skills. For example, good communication skills, basic programming languages. Now these things are very important when you prepare your resume. These things will help you to get noticed there. Also they have written there the salary that they are offering and the job location. Now these things are not really important while you are preparing your resume. Sometimes the job advertisement provides the company profile. It is a good practice to go through the company profile as it will help you to improve your resume. So now let's get into the details of how to prepare an effective and an impactful resume. First things first, the layout of a resume. The layout will have a header, a body and a footer. Now in the header, you must mention your name, your postal address, email ID and your mobile number there. Make sure that your name and your postal address is never on the right side of the document. It's either in the center or is it on the left side of the document. You do not have to mention resume as the title of the document as it is understood that you are sending a resume to the organization. Speaking about the email address, make sure that your email address is a professional one. Nothing like handsomehunk@gmail.com or beautifulreena@yahoo.com. These are very informal email IDs. So make sure you have a professional one with your name or your surname and so on. Speaking about the mobile number, provide a mobile number where company can reach you easily. Now, speaking about the body of the resume. The first thing that you have in the body of a resume is career objective. Now, three things that you must remember when you write a career objective. First, it must be role specific. When I say role, I mean to say the designation which you're applying for. The second thing is the functional area. Functional area means the skills that you have that can relate you to that particular role or that particular designation. And finally, the industry. Which industry would you like to work for? Is it IT? Is it pharmaceutical or anything else? So make sure your career objective includes all these three things for the interviewer to relate you to the job. So these three things, you will get the details of it from the job advertisement or the job posting there. That's why I mentioned that please go through the job advertisement very carefully and include the details in your resume. So here we have an example of a career objective. If you notice, the person has mentioned the role that he is looking to work for. Next, he has mentioned some functional area such as detail-oriented team player, so on, that will help him to relate it to the job. And finally, the industry that he wants to work for. Here, like you see, he wants to work for an IT organization. So these are the three things which is very important for a career objective. Now, here are a few tips that will help you to write your career objective in an effective manner. First, keep the English simple. Second, make sure that the sentences are precise and concise. And finally, the whole career objective should not exceed more than 3 lines. So, next comes the technical skills. Under this, mention the technical skills that you possess. Do not try to mention the technical skills that you would like to acquire. Also, remember to mention the technical skills that the company is looking for this particular job post. For example, if the company is looking for Java and you write over there as .NET and there is nowhere you have written Java, then the company will not be able to relate you to the job post. Hence, there is no point applying for that particular post. It is a good practice to categorize your technical skills under each domain. Like you see in this particular example. Here, if you see, you have programming languages so and so, you know the tools so and so, and you know the operating systems such as Windows and etc. So, such presentation would improve the readability of your resume and it would look neat. Now, after your technical skills comes your education qualification. You may have observed some resumes where the people write their education qualification in sentences, or they write it in bullet points, or they write it in tabular format. It is preferred to write it in a tabular format as it improves the readability. Also, your education qualification should be in a reverse chronological order. In reverse chronological order, I mean to say your post-graduation, then your graduation, intermediate and metric. So, from your highest qualification to the past. So, here is an example of education qualification in the tabular format. If you notice, the table is divided into 5 columns. First, name of the degree. Second, the college. Third, the university. Fourth, year of graduation. And finally, the percentage. If you would like, you can also add the year of joining in the same table. Next, in case you have done any certifications, you can list them below education qualification under the title certifications. You can write them in bullet points. Now let us go back to the job description or the job advertisement there. Generally, they mention some competencies that they look for. For example, good communication skills or a team player and so on. So these can be mentioned in your resume under the title strengths in bullet points. However, make sure that you possess these skills. So let's see an example of how to write certification and strengths. If you notice, certifications are listed in bullet points and then strengths such as good communication skills or ability to work under pressure. Now here I want to point you out something. Do not write that I can work under pressure or I can do this. Do not use pronouns there. You always start with a verb. For example, if you notice, ability to work under pressure rather than I can work under pressure. Now that we have seen the certification and strengths, next comes a very important thing, which is your project. You may have done some projects in your education life. Here is the time where you mention about your project in detail. Again, the project is also in a reverse chronological order, which means the latest would always come first. If you have done 2-3 projects, make sure you write a project which is related to the job that you are applying for. Right, so let us see an example of the project framework. First, it starts with the name, which is nothing but the title of the project. After that, you mention the client. For example, if you have done the project for a certain client, you write it over here. After this, you have the team size, which means whether it was an individual, like just one person, or a group project there. Once you have done that, we have the duration. The duration can be in months or in weeks. After that, what was your role if it was a group project, whether you were the team player or the team leader there. Once you have the role there, you can write the environment that you have worked for, like what was the front end, whether it was Java or anything else, and the back end, was it the database, that means it was Oracle or SQL, whatever back end you have used. After all these details comes the aim or the description of the project. This you write it in a paragraph format there, and make sure the description is in simple English. Once you have written that, next comes a very important thing, which is nothing but your responsibilities. What have you exactly done in this project? And like I mentioned earlier, do not write I have done this or I took care of this. Do not write the word I over there. Start with saying, for example, designed the architecture of the project, written some test cases, executed the code, and so on. So make sure your responsibilities start with a verb, and as the project is already completed, you write it in past tense. Similarly, write details about the relevant projects. Next comes the achievements. Here you list out the significant achievements if you have any. Finally, we come to the personal details. Here is an example of the personal details that you can mention in your resume. It's generally your father's name, date of birth, gender, nationality. Also nowadays people want your passport number or your PAN card number for a background check. So make sure you mention all those details under the personal information. So let's do a quick revision. So the body of your resume would contain your career objective, technical skills, education qualification, certifications if there are any. Next you have your strengths, then project details, finally your achievements and personal details. So once you complete with the personal details, we come to the end of the resume. Here you have to mention date, place and your name. In case you're sending the resume as a physical copy, make sure you sign above your name. In case you're sending as an email, there is no need of a signature. So now that you know all this, go ahead and prepare a wonderful resume and an impactful resume for yourself. Thank you and all the best.